So the first thing we need to understand is that legacy code is inevitable, okay? And at some point, we're all gonna be working in legacy. Current best practices will be outdated in 3 years, 5 years. And if you code in JavaScript, it may be outdated in 1 month. So yeah, how to approach refactoring legacy? The most important thing are tests, unit tests. But if your app has poor architecture and you really cannot write proper unit test at the moment, use this strategy. So first, you're gonna identify the highest risk components in your application. Okay, those are components that are critical and have the highest chance of breaking when you start refactor process. And once you identify those components, you need to write characterization tests for them. Okay, but what is characterization tests, you may ask? Let me explain. This is test that will capture current existing behavior. To write this for Android, you may use some UI automation frameworks such as Maestro, maybe Espresso, Appium. Think big integration tests. And on the smaller scale, component scale, you may use tools such mock static from Mockito. You may even mock final classes. And you need to remember that during this phase, writing characterization tests, you cannot change the production code. You may start changing your production code once you have at least few characterization tests in place. And if you have this safety net, you may begin refactoring and start with small steps. Rename variables, extract logic to methods, use every refactoring tool you know and every refactoring tool that your IDE has inside. That's the first part. Run your characterization test suite very often. Too often. As often as possible. Once you're happy with refactor, and once you have those, with, of course, characterization tests still passing, you may introduce proper unit tests. Characterization tests and unit tests should be passing at the same time. And once you have those unit tests, you may begin refactoring a little bit more because unit tests are faster, more reliable in the small scale, and basically they are foundation of the test pyramid. So you need to have many of those, okay? And then repeat this process. Identify high-risk components, write characterization tests for them, refactor a little bit, run characterization test, refactor again, introduce inversion of control, write unit tests, and repeat again. So that was the strategy, how to approach writing tests in legacy projects, in old code that at the first sight may seem untestable. If you like that kind of content, hit like and subscribe to my channels, and see you next time.